So I was just talking to a friend the other day on Instagram, and we were just kind of chatting about life and like apartments and living. And I was telling her how one of the things that I feel like stopped me a little bit from showing up online is that as soon as I hit 40, I was like very aware that I was living in an apartment, and I was really buying into this idea that like I should be further along in life. I should own a home. I'm helping people with design who have houses. Here I am renting. Like, am I still relevant? And she kind of reflected back to me that, she's had every living situation. She's owns a home. She's lived in a rental. She's raised kids in a small home that wasn't good. She's had a condo, and she's like, you could have every scenario. I've had every scenario there is. At least you went and lived in cities that you always wanted to live. And it kind of reflected back to me this thought of like, we're always kind of looking at our scenario and we're thinking either we're behind or we should have something else. And we look at other people and think, well, they've got this. Why can't I have this? And there's a lot of like comparison that goes along, which I think is like, it's natural, but it's very, very damaging. And the reality is that what you're thinking that you're missing out on, that you didn't achieve, someone else is actually thinking the same thing about themselves. And there are people in this world that look to you and see what you have and feel like, wow, they're so far ahead. I wish I could have that. So it kind of works both ways. And so it kind of just reflected back to me to remember that, you really have to just focus on your own path. The game ain't over till it's over. There's still time to achieve the things you want. And so I've been very much in a reflective mode of thinking about what I have learned through all of my moves, all of the cities that I've lived in, because I have been kind of a daring person where I have moved multiple times to new cities where I literally did not know. I'd never been to that city and I didn't know anyone, and I just moved there because I wanted to move there. So the positive side of that is like, I always go for my dreams in a sense, or what I feel like that's one of my dreams is just to, try these different cities and live this kind of like life. But there's a part of me that also really wants to feel like I have a home, a forever home, grounded, and like really like start building. So this video is actually, I just wanted to share a couple of things that I learned about when you move during transition, during a phase of your life when you're making, like something's going on in your life and you're making a big change, and how it relates to home. Because the type of home that you choose, the type of scenario that you choose is going to make a huge impact on how able how you are able to successfully settle into that new life and new identity. Because when we change our home, we are actually saying, like, when we change our life, whatever that is, like you're going back to school, you're getting a divorce, you're moving to a new state, you're like taking on a new part of your life that you haven't been before. And sometimes, and what I've done is that I noticed that there's a tendency to want to choose the same kind of life that you had before because it's familiar, and that might not actually be the thing that will serve you the most. So when it comes to, one of the things that I learned about me choosing this apartment that wasn't really conducive to my life as it is today is the size of this apartment. I actually recommend that when you are making a major change, don't choose a big house. Don't choose a big apartment. And I will say, I didn't necessarily, I didn't realize that was such an important factor when I was choosing this space, because when I was moving back to LA, I actually looked at a lot of different spaces. I looked in a lot of different neighborhoods I hadn't lived before. And it was a very expensive time when I moved back. And I did actually get approved for another apartment, but it was really small. And the reason I didn't take it, two reasons, because I went back to this place like a couple of times. There were two things that made me not rent it. On the last visit to this apartment, I noticed that there were planes flying over the apartment. I was like, whoa, I'm feeling the base of this airplane. And I realized that we have like an airport in Burbank. It's like a little micro airport. It's like great. It's like, I highly recommend flying out of there. But the Burbank airport has since rerouted their airline over Studio City. And that meant that these airplanes were going to be flying over this neighborhood. And I was like, hell no, thank God If you are looking for an apartment, or a house, you need to go visit that house at different times during the day to make sure there's not some crazy thing that's gonna that would have driven me insane. And another thing was in the bathroom, they had installed this really dumb sink. It was a surface level sink that was kind of like that porcelain Italian where it's painted in this like yellow and blue, like somebody, I don't know, like somebody thought that was gonna be good. That would have driven me crazy. I would have had to replace the sink. I don't wanna deal with that. So I didn't take that apartment. It's actually more expensive, this tiny little apartment, than this place. I was trying to find this apartment on a limited time frame when I was still living in Dallas, but here on work and staying with friends. And it just happened to be the best choice at the time. And I thought it was so big, my place is so big, and I thought, great, I'm moving back into the neighborhood that I absolutely love, in the style of home that I absolutely love, and it's huge, fantastic. Apartments are expensive, this one's a better price. I'm just gonna set all my furniture up, get it all styled, just like I had my last place, and I'm gonna be there for, as long as I can until I buy a house. That was the plan. That's not actually how things worked out. I came back to the city with just a cube, okay? I had like my mattress, a complete one of those moving cubes, completely full with all of my stuff, but like no major furniture. And let me tell you something. I measured my living room. I believe it is like 15 feet wide by, I think it might be 25 feet long. And then if you add the dining room, that's like 40. Do you know how big that is to start your life over? That is huge. Like the ideal rug size in this living room is like a 10 by 14. Okay, that adds so much more to your budget when you are shopping for a rug. I can and have fit 2 full-size sofas in this living room. Do you think I need that level of a space when you are just starting over? And honestly, I spent a lot of money moving back to LA. And so that's been one of the hardest things. So I think I am literally saving you so much money and time and hassle to offer you the thought that you do not need a massive space when you are moving to a new city, starting again, and you don't know how things are all gonna play out. That big space can really do some damage on you, because it just takes longer to make it feel cozy. And I think when you are in a space in your life where you're starting over, your space really does affect how you feel. And so when you can create a space that feels cozy, somewhat finished, you've got all of the things that you need, it feels pulled together, that actually really calms down your nervous system. It makes you feel settled and grounded. And so it's just a lot more settling than kind of a sparse-ish, empty-ish big space where you're still trying to find that 84-inch sideboard, you know what I'm saying? Or that 10 by 14 rug. That's like too much pressure. Second thing is, like, a lot of times we think we know who we are, and we do know who we are at certain times, but when you're changing your life, you're changing your life. And so these vintage apartments have always been my thing. You guys know me as the vintage apartment, and I have always gravitated towards them because when you like design and style, having all these architectural details do half the work in decorating. Crown moldings, panels on the wall, like tall, high ceilings, big spaces, old wood, like all of that is like part of the design. I've made so many videos in the past where I talk about, I hate gray engineered wood floors and these boxes with no character. No, I would love a box. I would actually love to have brand new flooring at this point. I can't do the gray, but like some kind of give me engineered wood. Give me a space where, because sometimes with these vintage places, it's just, there's wear to them. And that's another thing. If you're starting over in a new period of your life, you also may not want to take on full renovations, because another reason I chose this place is because I thought, okay, it's content. I can make it over, I can paint. And I did a lot of that when I first moved in. We redid the whole kitchen, not because I wanted to, but because the kitchen, I ignored a lot of red flags because I was really desperate to get back and get this place. And I didn't really like investigate the kitchen that much. And when I moved in, I was like, I got to take this down to like, we got to redo this thing because I can't live here unless it's like fresh. So I did actually end up making that. And I'm happy with the kitchen because it was a smaller contained space that I could like achieve, and then it's done. So you want to think about that. Like, does that what you typically do, is that what you're ready to take on again? maybe you do want something with character. Maybe you've spent your whole life in kind of a basic white box that doesn't have character, and now's the chance to do something a little bit different. That could be like really fun for you. And then another thing that just makes me think about is I remember in Dallas, it was a vintage apartment, but I had that beautiful, I loved my bathroom. I miss that bathroom. I had a beautiful, modest little bathroom, but it had been redone really nicely. It had a marble top on the vanity. It had drawers. Lord give me drawers in a bathroom. It had, you know, a nicely, just everything was clean and white and nice. And I remember, this is the funny thing I will give Texas for. The hot water heater was so high, I had to ask them to turn it down like 3 times. And I love taking a bath. Like if I had a choice between a shower and a bath, I could live the rest of my life just taking a bath. I love a bath. I love a beautiful, modern, clean bathroom. And I just absolutely love that bathroom. And like I said, I was just trying to get back to LA on a limited time frame, seeing a ton of apartments, super expensive. This was really big, and I just like did not look close enough at. I was kind of just like overlooking a lot of things that I really shouldn't have overlooked. I now have learned, don't overlook red flags if you are sensitive on things that would truly bother you because you're trying to just like get something. It's like not worth it. So I miss those baths. And I moved here and like I have a big bathtub, but like the water heater is so low. These cheapskates won't turn it up. It's like behind a lock and key. I hate that. Whereas Dallas, they're like, have all the hot water you want. We pay for the hot water in Dallas. That you don't pay for water in a lot of these rentals here in LA, so maybe that's why. Anyway, I miss the bath. I miss a beautiful bathroom. So I'm taking all of these notes with me. I'm learning as I go, and I've learned that, you know, the next place that I choose for this new life that I'm building, it's gonna have some things that I haven't experienced before, and I'm really excited and grateful for it. I hope this helps though, because I feel like, you know, when you're committing and you're putting down deposits and you're, you know, moving in somewhere, like, yeah, you can move again, but it comes at a cost. So I've just wanted to share the things that I learned about starting over in midlife, or when you're making a big change. You want to make it as frictionless as possible. You want to put yourself in a winning position so that you're not trying to deal with something that has a larger capacity than you have to give, right? This space doesn't really match the capacity that I have to put into a home right now. So hope that video was helpful, and let me know in the comments if any of these clicked for you, and if there's any other realizations you've learned along your journey when you're making changes that you would do differently in your life if you had to do it over. Talk to you later. Bye.